Thanks to everyone who have subscribed. If you have not, please do. And thanks for coming out here. I really appreciate you.
Your call for restructuring is too late. Nigeria must divide. Fani Kayode tells Obasanjo, go on, Danjuma. Fani Kayode, a former Minister of Aviation, has told former President Olusegun Obasanjo, ex-head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, retired military commander, and Theophilus Danjuma, to shun the idea of restructuring, adding that nothing would stop self-determination. Fani Kayode, a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), said the call coming from the elder statesman is rather too late now. He said that the trio has rejected restructuring in 1967 at Abire and instead decided to fight Igbos, wondering why the call is coming now when self-determination has taken over. Daily Post reported that General Gowon had, at a public event organized by Igbos Leaders Developmental Foundation last week, admitted that the Igbo nationals has been seriously marginalized in Nigerians' politics. He said, I believe that a lot of injustice has been done to the Igbos, and our restructuring debate on the Constitution must address all imbalances and restore hope and confidence in her citizens. On his part, Obasanjo has condemned the current state of affairs in the country. In his speech at the Frederick First Memorial Lecture, the ex-military leader said, we estimated that federal government will suppress the Biafra rebellion within 3 months. To make allowances for sin, we allowed for 6 months. But it took us 30 months, 5 times what we allowed for. And that is what is more. We nearly lost that war. And as a field commander at the end of the war, I can attest that we fought with all Nigerian tribes, including Igbos that were against Biafra. And if after 10 years of fighting Boko Haram, the terrorist group is still waxing strong, let nobody out of self-delusion think that a war of self-determination by one or more political zone of Nigeria with the present determination would be easily suppressed by the rest of what may remain in the country. Some will fight to the last drop of their blood for their group rather than suffer indignity of slavery, oppression, and injustice in the land of their birth, and only one that they can call home, Nigeria. If Boko Haram can get an outsider's support, any geopolitical zone option for self-determination may equally get an external support. War may not necessarily go as planned, estimated, and predicted. Even everyone must know, therefore, be put in place, necessary things must be put in place to avoid a war, the end of which no one can precisely predict. There is no assumption that Nigeria can survive a second civil war, but rather we should seek political solution and avoid a destructive civil war. Restructuring is the way forward. Similarly, Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, had earlier mocked the retired army general for demanding restructuring from President Muhammadu Buhari. Backing the IPOB leader in a tweet on Monday morning, Fani Kayode said, those that opposed restructuring at Abiru in 1967 and waged war against Igbo, against Biafra, namely Gowon, Obasanjo, T.Y. Danjuma, are now calling for restructuring. Hmm. The truth is that restructuring is a bit too late. Too late. The new kid in the block is known as self determination and cannot be denied. It is time for Nigeria to divide. I say it again. It is time for the country to divide. Restructuring, a bit too late. Well, these are the words coming from Fani Kayode, um, also supporting what the IPOB leader has said. The person of Nnamdi Kanu. Remember that Nnamdi Kanu really mocked Obasanjo, Yakubu Gowon, as well as T.Y. Danjuma. These were the people who stood up against Biafrans, fought them for 30 months, almost destroyed Nigerians, fellow Nigerians, because they wanted a fair share and right in the country of their birth. All they were calling for was restructuring because the Igbos, they started feeling the marginalization even from then. And we can see today who is the president of the country, who is the Senate president, key positions, chief of army, chief of navy, chief of air force, chief of police, immigration, you name it. Important position. Who are the ones there in the country that determines law and order in the country? Who are the ones there? Say it loud and clear so you can understand what is going on in Nigeria. Nepotism is at its height in this government. What is going on in Nigeria, nobody will accept it in the land of their birth. Nobody. So, if they are calling now for restructuring, restructuring will allow every aspect of Nigeria to have a say in what happened in their locality and will lead to further development. It will lead to further development. I remember a time that people were talking about restructuring before things got this bad. But everybody said, no, Nigeria must not divide. What is going on now? What can you say to it? With what is going on now? The government of today, they are like oblivious to what is really happening. It's like when they come out, when issues happen, people have lost lives and property, almost been displaced. It's like nothing is really happening. They don't feel it. And even when they come out, even when they try to read a statement or acknowledge or say something with regard with what has happened, they seem very detached because they did not write the note themselves. Probably a well-scripted person has written the note for them and has said this, say that. So it's really they're not really in touch with their true emotions. They just come there and say, "Oh, we are sorry," blah blah blah. No remorse, no true identification to say that these are my fellow human being treated like this. They go about business as usual, as if nothing has happened in the country. But it ought not to be so. It ought not to be so. When they came into office, part of the oath of office they took was that they were going to make Nigeria a great nation, and security was part and big part of the oath of office they took. They said they were going to make sure that Nigerians live in safety, but apparently so, not so, you know. They are not doing according to what they promised or the oath of office they took. They are not. You can see for yourself. Nobody is actually sticking out for the people or talking. They just go for meetings and they just do their own thing. Nobody's really talking. Nobody's really saying this is what is going on. There's oppression in the land. This and that are happening. This and that is what is really happening in the country. So we need to call a spade and be honest with ourselves. Restructuring at this time, I think that's the way forward. That's my opinion. I know everybody's entitled to their opinion. What do you think? Do you think Nigeria needs to restructure so that things can begin to move forward? Do you think that this country needs to look on the bright side and begin to put things in order so that Nigeria can see a bright of day? Because it's what is going on in this country now. Do you think that the leaders are really upholding to their integrity and what they said they are going to do in office? These are some of the questions we should begin to ask ourselves and begin to reflect upon. Do we think that Nigeria needs to stay as one or or just go divided and restructure? These are some of the questions. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click on the notification button so you can get all our latest news. We are here to keep you up to date with all that is going on in Nigeria and around the world. Thanks very much for listening. God bless. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.